My best friend asked me to be her sperm donor for her surrogate. I'm madly in love with her. So for a bit of background, we met in college and have been best friends since then. We hooked up once years ago. It was a drunken exchange, and I honestly chalked it up to we were both drunk and in the right place. She got ovarian cancer that was stage 3 a few years back and survived, and has been in remission. However, she had to have a complete hysterectomy. She had mentioned a year ago she was considering surrogacy. She had told me she planned to use a donor as she has been single for a while. The thing is, I am in love with her and I have been for years, but she has no idea. I know at one point she had feelings for me, but I was seeing someone then, and out of respect for my girlfriend at the time, she never acted on it. I feel like before I give her an answer which will be yes, I should tell her how I feel. I want to make her dream of motherhood come true, and I am honestly touched she thinks so highly of me. She wants me to be the father. Regardless of how she feels, I will still donate. And if she doesn't still feel the same way, I will love her as my best friend. Guess I'm trying to find the best way to ask her and came to Reddit for advice. So how should I handle this? Update. I appreciate all the feedback, most of you were nice. There were a few idiots telling me I needed to be alpha and be more manly. But whatever. Anyway, the consensus with my RL friends was I needed to tell her. We do brunch on Saturdays because she does yoga Sundays, so we met up this morning. I could barely eat and she could tell something was up. She got worried thinking I was going to say no or something worse, so by the time we took a walk both of us were nervous wrecks. I sat her down and told her everything, how I realized I was in love with her several years back, but was too much of a chicken shit to come clean. I told her that I never said anything because I did not want to jeopardize our friendship. Her face turned white, then a myriad of expressions came over her face when she started laughing till tears came down her face. I honestly was stunned, my stomach was in my throat, and I honestly thought that almost 12 years of friendship were down the toilet. Then she started crying, sobbing really, and she lightly hit my chest. She half laughed and sobbed that she was in love with me too, but she thought that it would also impede the friendship we had, and she wanted nothing to screw up what we have. We hugged and I told her that there is no one on this earth I would want to have a child with but her. We talked for hours. In fact, I just got home. We have decided that we want to focus on ourselves for now. I want us to be at that point that we can do it together. I know that this isn't a rom-com and that things could end up not working out for us in the end. However, I am pretty sure if there are such things as soulmates, she is mine. Thank you guys and gals for giving me the courage to tell her. Story 2. My wife, 33F, and I, 29M, have been married 4 years now, coming on 5. We have generally had a good relationship and a good marriage. We had a reasonably expensive wedding, which we're still paying for now. I get the bill every month to prove it. My wife took charge of planning the wedding, so it was to her taste. She seemed to enjoy it at the time, and for the first few years of our marriage, she would look back at the wedding with me happily and without issues. In recent months, I've noticed my wife's attitude to A, our wedding, and B, our marriage itself shift. It began with her, I thought jokingly, referring to herself as my girlfriend. She told me to buy her a girlfriend card for Valentine's Day rather than a wife one, for example. I thought she was just playing around at first. But this behavior has only escalated. 2 months ago, my wife stopped wearing her wedding ring. I was understandably upset and asked her if there was something wrong. She told me everything was fine and she just doesn't like the sensation of jewelry on her hands. My wife has never liked rings and jewelry, so this could be the case. But when we are with friends, my wife will get upset if I talk about her as my wife, rather than just a girlfriend. She will go as far as to interrupt me if I'm talking, telling a story to correct me on our relationship. Initially, this was something our friends laughed at, but now everybody just finds it understandably awkward. One of our friends was talking about their wedding, which is scheduled for early next year. They asked for advice from my wife about how she planned ours, and my wife responded with, "What wedding?" When our friend continued talking about the table decorations my wife had used, my wife visibly teared up in front of the whole group and had to step outside. Later that evening, I asked her directly if she has a problem with our relationship or if I'm doing something wrong in our marriage. She assured me that everything is fine between us. From my perspective, outside of this issue, our relationship is as strong as ever. We are considering kids in the near future. Our sex life is great, and my wife recently suggested we get matching tattoos as a renewal of our love. Is there advice anyone can offer on why my wife might be acting like this and what I should do? I 22M saw a disturbing message my BF 22M sent to a friend. As I'm typing this, I can't even sleep and I'm sick to my stomach. My BF got a MacBook that I bought him and he needed some help fixing something on it. I don't know his password, he never told me, as he seems to be very secretive with that sort of thing. Whereas he knows even my debit PIN. He logged me in and then went to the store. I had initial thought to even look at anything, but after a bit, I noticed the Messages app. Being a Windows user, I didn't realize you could have iMessage on there. My curiosity grew and I opened it up. I saw the name of someone I didn't know. I only know his inner circle of friends for the most part, and even then I've never met most of them in person. I'm never invited to things with them. I couldn't see the entire message history, only the most recent messages up until it was installed. Looking through the list, there isn't many contacts he's been texting lately. Most of them I know, but there's one guy I don't who's pretty close to the top. The convo was pretty tame, I think. It seems the other person was sharing their frustration with dating. Two things in this convo really bothers me. The first being my BF telling this person something along the lines of "I really feel that I'm not in a headspace for a relationship." The other being the tone of the convo. My BF apologized to them for a late response. Literally at the same time, I knew my BF was out somewhere and waiting for him to text me back. Maybe this doesn't sound too bad and I'm overreacting, but we have had a fair bit of issues in the past. One of my concerns/issues was that I don't feel like I have his undivided attention hardly. It was definitely a point of contention for me, and I still feel that way, but have sort of just dealt with it. It seems like he's always got someone else to talk to or message. Even when looking right at him and talking, sometimes he will barely acknowledge me or ignore me. I've never had any trust issues with him, but some of the compounding issues in our relationship have caused me to become very concerned if it will or can continue. Sorry for the long and crazy post, but I wanted to provide at least minimal context to why this especially bothers me. I know what I did is ed up WND. If I own up to it, I really feel like it will be the end. She assured me that everything is fine between us. From my perspective, outside of this issue, our relationship is as strong as ever. We are considering kids in the near future. Our sex life is great, and my wife recently suggested we get matching tattoos as a renewal of our love. Is there advice anyone can offer on why my wife might be acting like this and what I should do?